Hey everyone, welcome to the Good Reader radio show slash podcast. My name is Michael.
My name is Peter.
And look, we're just going to talk about e-readers and pretty well nothing else for the duration of the next 40 minutes.
That's it. That's it. What's going on, guys?
So um there's been a lot of e-readers released like this year so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about the most notable ones, I guess.
Let's do
Like
it. Yeah. Yeah. Kick it off. Throw some
uh
topics and let's roundtable it.
there's a new Nook coming out soon.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
the new Glow Light Plus 2023 edition. It's the 7-inch plus version. So it's their flagship e-reader. We don't really know a lot in terms of specs, but we do know it's like 300 PPI.
Yeah.
It does have Bluetooth, so you can connect up headphones, earbuds, etc. And it's the first Nook that could play audiobooks. So as probably a lot of you know or may not know, Barnes & Noble about 2 or 3 years ago got serious about audiobooks. They got a new partner, Findaway, and they have like hundreds of thousands of audiobooks like on their site. You can listen to them in the Nook app for Android or iOS. However, you have to buy the audiobooks on the Barnes & Noble website, you know, if you're using the mobile apps or the Nook tablet. But with the new Nook Glow Light Plus, you can buy and listen to audiobooks right on a Nook device. So this is huge news. It's remains to be seen if this sort of thing will be backwards compatible, whether previous generation Nook e-readers that actually do have Bluetooth, but they've never unlocked audiobooks. So maybe they're just going to market this new Nook as this is the only device that you have to buy if you want to listen to audiobooks. It's rated waterproof. I believe it's IPX8. So
Nice.
you could read in a bathtub, in the beach, and not have to worry. Physical page turn buttons. And it looks like the same design as previous Nooks. So yeah, the home button, same software. So nothing dramatically is going to change there.
I think they stopped doing radical gen to gen release device changes. Remember when back in the day they went and made a rose gold one? You couldn't choose any other color. Looked like a bar of soap. The next one had a built-in rubber bouncy bumper that you couldn't take out. You could rip it out, but then you'd have this crevice. They had wild amount of differences when it came to gen release. So I'm happy that they've kind of settled on something that looks very simple, touchy. You know what I mean? It's a tried and tested and true makeup that is kind of screams Barnes and Noble. I'm glad they're coming out with one. I think you broke the story April, didn't you? With a FCC application, and then I think you got a guy to go into Barnes and Noble, and one of your guys saw like a banner for cases or something, right? And there was like a price or something like that, right?
Well, that was from Reddit. So
Ah,
the picture that said, so they're doing pre-orders but only in the stores. So Barnes & Noble hasn't
oh,
officially announced this yet, nor are they taking pre-orders online, but there is
oh.
signage in,
Yeah,
I presume, not all bookstores, but in enough
some of them.
bookstores, yeah, that they are going to be taking like pre-orders and stuff for them. So
Ooh.
it's
It
it's
it's always
interesting.
exciting to see one of the big three releasing something, honestly, even if it's just like a color change, the Nook Pink, the Kindle Paperwhite 16 gig. It's always exciting when those guys, come up to the plate.
Yeah, so I don't really think that there's going to be any new Kindles this year because they basically refreshed the entire product line
Yeah, they did.
like last year with the
Yep.
new Kindle Basic, the new
The Scribe is now
Paperwhites.
here. Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
Scribe. So it's like, I don't think that they're going to do anything else. Their hands are full basically on supporting the Scribe, and a lot of their engineering power is towards firmware updates on the Scribe. Like I believe like the last 3 or 4 updates Amazon's released is only been Scribed only
Only
and not
Scribe.
the other e-readers.
But I will say that there was some murmurings around the industry, and also a lot of users have been pointing out that that next year the Paperwhite will be 4 years old because it came out in 2021. The Paperwhite, it's already 2+ years old. Okay, it'll be 3 years old. That might be enough time for them to do something. But yeah, you're right. I don't. The Paperwhite 16 gig just came out. The Paperwhite 5 signature came out at the tail end of 2021. So it's kind of getting there, but probably not enough for them to do a release this fall. But we never know. You never know what we'll see,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, like the new Paperwhites are using Carta 1200.
Mhm.
So, and like, what else are they,
What could
you
they
always,
do?
yeah, exactly. What can they do to the Paperwhite to, they already increased the screen size from 6" to 6.8. I believe
They
that's the
did.
screen
No,
side.
no,
Yeah.
they did. They've deviated 75% of their devices away from a 6-inch. They just keep making everything bigger and bigger. So uh the only thing I can see is just bring back hardware features that people are screaming for, SD cards, speakers, but we just don't see Amazon presenting a device with those kind of features anymore.
Yeah, and there's not really anything new in terms
No.
of e-ink. That you really have to like look at e-ink innovation to see what would be the next thing that
Yeah.
and Amazon would include in their devices. I don't think that they're going to be using Kaleido 3,
No.
the latest generation color e-paper.
No.
They're not going to certainly not going to use Galley.
Absolutely not.
They've been testing it, those sort of
We
things
we
for
know
like the
that.
last year.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Lab 126 has been testing it.
Yep.
We know people who work there, and we know that there's nothing new in terms of e-paper technology that they're even thinking about
Right.
using. And
Right.
so, Kobo as well, they almost like refreshed all of like their stuff, in terms of
They got
devices.
the ellipse. They have a varied line. They got the Ellipsa, they got the Nia still as their entry level, the Clara 2E. So they have this kind of, eco entries into the lineup. They got the basic stuff. They got the Note Taker. Um, they're full. Yeah, they're full too. The only thing people were saying is they could see the Forma getting a refresh, but they kind of have the what's the one with the physical patron buttons on it right now? That is the Clara. No, not the Clara.
Sage
Sage, thank you.
and
Yeah, so they already
and Libra too.
yeah, so they already have the Sage, which picks up the pieces of the Forma and adds the weight the EMR note-taking layer. So they're full, I think, too. I'm not sure. They could do a better Nia 6-inch entry because the 6-inch that they have now, the Nia was pretty poor. One of the poorest things we've seen from the company in like a decade. It was the Nia. So if anything, it would be a refresh of the base model. But we've seen so many manufacturers go to very great lengths to avoid 6 inches nowadays. So I'm not even sure if they'd go for that.
I could see them redoing the Sage at some
They
point,
could. Yeah.
just
Sage
because
2.
like the battery life is terrible, and I could see
Oh,
them doing like a
that's
Sage
right.
2E,
Yeah.
make it out of recycled plastics, because
Yeah.
like, that's the big selling point between the Clara 2E, the Ellipsa 2E is sort of like the environmentally friendly ocean bound plastic is
Right.
in their construction. So I could see them when they, the one the Sage is good, but there's a reason why they released a power cover for it, is because
Ye-
like the
that
battery
was the
life
only
is
reason, man.
terrible.
That was the reason they did that. Yeah.
So you'll be lucky if it lasts you like a week.
Oh man, what did the Sage have for a battery? I think it was like that had to be in the 3 digits, right? It couldn't be like 4,000. No, it's not. I'm
I
gonna say
think it
it's
was like, I think
1,200.
yeah, I
1,200
think it was 1200.
mAh. 1,200 paltry battery. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's low, man. Yeah, it's always kind of a sad day at the office when you have to build a product from scratch, the case, in order to make up for the shortcomings of your primary. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But
So
yeah.
you've been reviewing a lot of stuff.
Oh,
What's been standing out?
it's been busy over here, man. We've gotten to the point where our YouTube guys are like, you got to do a wrap up every month, and I'm like, Yeah, makes sense. So we've actually been doing an every e-reader released mini segment where we just take 2 or 3 minutes to uh go over everything that's been released because there's just too much. And I think we've been doing that for like 7 months now, 8 months. A lot of stuff, man. If you're asking about the standouts, like the something that I don't particularly like, but something that's like, holy crap, why does it exist? Is the Philips monitor. We've seen a lot of manufacturers enter the e-reader space, e-ink space. I never thought a company as big as Philips would enter the space with something so crazy and so off the rails as the business monitor. It's insane how that is their
So
first entry into the scope.
to tell the people what that
Sure.
is, because they might not
So,
know.
yeah, so the business monitor, I'm gonna get a thing here. So picture this as an LCD monitor. What it is actually it's this with an e-paper screen built into it that pivots at a 45-degree angle. So this is LCD LED. This is built in e-paper, and it's a 13.3-inch panel that you can't remove, but it offers you to take a break from your from looking at LCD. You can use either one, and you can arrange it any way you want. So like when you go to your display settings on your PC and you have another monitor, it's like this is monitor number 1, this is monitor number 2. With the Philips business monitor, you actually get 2. You get 1 and 2, so you get a secondary and a tertiary. Not only that, the e-ink portion of it can be utilized without power with your cell phone. You can actually have the monitor, not plug it in, plug in a cable from your phone to the monitor, and the monitor will work, feeding off of your phone. It's freaking crazy. It was a weird entry as anybody's first crack at e-paper. We were like, thanks, Philips, for the sample, but like, are you guys sure you want to lead with this? Not like an e-reader? And they're like, nope, we made 2 monitors. And we're like, wow, props to you guys, I guess. And that just stood
Well,
out.
they do have the dedicated
That's what I
13.3
mean.
inch monitor
Yep,
too.
they made 2 monitors, but it's just weird how like they didn't even think of e-notes or e-readers or anything. They're like, nope, we just want to do e-paper monitors. And we're like, you know what? That's fair. There's only a couple companies that do that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Onyx with the Mira
And then
Pro, and
Dasung.
then Dasung with
That's it.
their myriad of offerings.
That's true. So
I
like,
think the newest one is like the curved monitor that they just like released. They have
yeah,
like
that's right.
they have like 4 models of that too.
Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff going on with that right now. The curved monitor, we're trying to get a sample of that, but it's hard for any of the reviewers to procure one because it's just so expensive. It's like we were in talks with Ricoh that has the 42-inch whiteboard, which is pure e-paper with a pen. And they said like they almost never send out review samples to anyone because it's like $5,000. So we're like, oh, yeah, okay. So we've been working with Ricoh to see if we can even go to their office and try one. We tried one at the trade show, but not like in a personal setting. So kind of working on that as well.
So Amazon just the embargo ended for reviews yesterday. So
Yeah.
that's like June 14th. So there's a lot of reviews and stuff online about it. We did our first look on the website, talking about the specs and the industrial design and everything, who this is aimed towards. And you recently did a full review of it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So
Sure.
this is like the first 11-inch tablet they ever released.
It is. They've done
And
10s and I think they did they? Yeah, they did 10s. Yeah, no, they never did 11.
it's pretty powerful. I think it's probably their best tablet in terms of resolution, performance, your bang for your buck, and everything else. So a lot of Fire tablets, they don't do 1080p, they do like
Yeah.
720 or lower. And so they're not really good for Prime Video and watching it in HD
Yeah.
or Disney Plus, which is available on the Amazon App Store. Unless you're getting 1080p, you're not really getting the best value out of it. But so it's 2000 by 1200 pixels, 213 ppi with a 5.3 aspect ratio. It's like a Cortex A55, so it's like a quad core 2
Yeah.
gigahertz, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 or 120 gigs of storage and a micro SD
Yeah.
capable of a 1 terabyte. It has Dolby audio, so it has two
Yeah.
speakers, so it'll get you Dolby audio, so sound at least will be good. And it's running Android 11 using Fire OS 8. So it's an entertainment content for Amazon. So think Kindle books, Audible audiobooks, Prime Video, the App Store, Prime Music. Those are sort of the things. And it actually will turn the tablet into an Echo Show. So you could
Oh, I
have
didn't
it
know
like on,
that.
yeah, you could have it on a stand and show, and so it has a show mode that you could do, which turns into an Echo Show display with hands-free Alexa mode. So that's one of the big things. And they've also have an optional case with a keyboard
They
and a
do.
stylus. So they are billing it as an entertainment device, but also an optional productivity device. So in a lot of the Amazon press stuff that they sent me, their various press releases on it, they really sort of want to build this as like a low cost device that you could draw and take notes and edit PDF files. You can sign documents, but you could also use Microsoft Word, which just comes pre-installed on it
Yeah.
to write. So
Yeah.
think blog articles, even writing like a novel, just doing productivity work for work. And this is pretty cheap too. What's the price on it?
Man, you know what? It's 250 for just the tablet. And if you just listen to the specs that Mike rattled off, that's pretty good. $250. If you want all the bells and whistles, you want the higher trim, you want the keyboard, you want the pen, it's like $370. But that's still pretty cheap, honestly. And the case is really cool. It's a two-piece case. It has a backing with a magnet snap, with a little camera cutout and everything like that. And yeah, I guess that's the portion where you can kick it up on the kickstand because it comes with a built-in kickstand and use it as a show. The keyboard's great. It's not very loud and rewarding to press, but it works well. It's very responsive. It has a lot of quick keys and it has a mouse via touchpad on it. I haven't confirmed if Bluetooth mice or mouses work on it if you have a Bluetooth mouse. Um, but you know what? I gotta say, it was surprising to me because we've used a lot of tablets like what do you call it? Like those Acer 2-in-1s, and just they're always kind of tablety more than anything else. This one felt, when you got everything out, you put the case, you put a kickstand, you get the keyboard, you got your pen, you're like, you know what, this is feeling kind of laptop-y, honestly. And actually on the keyboard, they have already predetermined keys where you can be like web browser, file manager, email, and everything just boom. So you can do like alt tab and all the familiar keystrokes, control F, control V, control C, control Z, and all of that is just muscle memory stuff, and it's all integrated into it. And then you can go boom, web browser, boom, boom, boom. Oh, I forgot, I have to sign something. You go to your file manager, click something open, sign with the digital pen that is supplied to them from Maxi, which is a Chinese company. It's made, the pen is made for Amazon, not by Amazon. They actually didn't make it. And then you can go boom, email, send it off. Email's integrated very well too. You just type in your email address and it automatically sets everything up if you have a normal extension like Gmail or Outlook kind of thing. It's surprisingly they're not billing it as a laptop, but every single piece of advertised media on their website, on the pictures, on the box, on the videos, it's all laptop. It's ergonomically, it's modular. It's all like, oh, this is a laptop, but they don't actually say that. But that's what they're pushing, is this Amazon Fire laptop. I gotta say, it's good. I was surprised. I thought it'd be like, oh, great, it's just gonna be a junk HD 10, but no, it's got like a 2K display, like you said. It's really solid.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally agree.
yeah.
So we have 10 more minutes
Sure.
to discuss what we want to discuss. So
we're just spitballing here, guys, along for the
yeah,
ride. Yeah.
so I guess when it comes to devices that you want to recommend for someone to pick up for the summer, to take to
Yeah.
the cat, it's summertime almost right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
like that
Right.
in the
Getting
vast
hot.
majority of the world right now.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of new products out that have just been, you have what are you recommending? Are you recommending the Poke 5,
Oh,
the
good
InkPad
one.
4?
Yeah. Yeah.
We've done a ton of reviews like on different devices. So,
Yeah.
what are you recommending to the people for the summer?
I gotta look at YouTube for this one. I gotta at least look at the titles because that's kind of why we do a lot of YouTube. YouTube's a very
Like the
small.
Big Me Inknote Color Light?
Yeah, yeah. So like when you go to our YouTube page, you can actually see everything in like dated and titled. So it's kind of like a little bit of a library. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. I'm gonna say if you want something small, cheap, and cheerful that has everything, yeah, Poke 5. It's got Google Play. It's 6 inches, like people are saying. You can still fit 6 inches in your pocket. A lot of companies don't like six. Amazon themselves moving away. Big Me doesn't make six. A lot of companies don't like it, but there is a point to it. It's nice and compact. That's a good one if you want an e-reader. E-note. Uh, yeah, if you're going e-note, you'd be good with like a Me Book, maybe a P10. It's only about 300 and something dollars. That's a good one. Me Book was Boyu before, remember? So we're moving into a new era of Boyu products. That's a good one. If you want color, it's irrefutable. Big Me's the best with color. That's a fact. They have the most options. They have the best performance, best prices. If you want color, you can't go wrong with a Big Me device. They've hit the first color award of literally everything. They're the first to do 10.3. They're the first to do K2, K3. They're the best for color. So something like an Inknote Plus Color Light, save a couple pennies on that. That'd be nice.
That's
I can't.
489.
Well, it's still cheaper than what it launched at, which was 699. So it's nice to see this little bit of a battle going on between Onyx and Big Me because they're fighting it out. It's kind of like Pepsi and Coke, Sega, Nintendo. They're undercutting each other, but yeah, you
I
can
would
get
I
some.
would say Big Me and Onyx are hardly Sega and Nintendo.
You know what I mean? If I had to choose 10.3-inch colors, there's only two options right now. There's either Big Me or either Onyx. So those are your only options. So as I'm saying, in that subsection of the meta, yes, there are only two players. But you are right. It's they're not quite there. No,
Yeah,
man, there's a
so
lot of stuff. Yeah.
Onyx Book has the Tab Ultra C, which
Yep.
just recently came out. This is their big tablet offering. I
That's right.
believe it's faster and more responsive, and Onyx just has better like software than Big Me does right now. Not that Big Me's any slouch
Yeah.
but I think that they probably Onyx, I think has more of a track record and
They
a
do.
little bit more reliable. And this
Yeah.
is their first Kaleido 3 like device, and they sort of bypassed the Galley e-paper technology, and they just went all in on Kaleido 3. I really like the Onyx Book Leaf 2 because it actually
Oh,
has
that's a
physical
nice one.
page turn buttons,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
what, like it's like less than $200 right now.
I think you're right. It's 199, and there's two options. There's actually a flush screen option and a sunken screen option. That's something that a lot of people don't know. We did a video on that. So yeah, that's a good pick. That's a solid recommendation. Everyone listen
Yeah,
up.
so
Yeah.
we do have reviews of everything that we've talked
Yeah.
about on the show. So you can visit our website at goodyreader.com, and you can click on the
Yeah.
reviews tab and just, look at all the reviews that we did, and you can check out what we recommended as well as find, things that maybe you're interested in. We have reviews going back all the way to like 2008. So
Yeah.
you can kind of
We do.
see a time capsule the more that you sort of scroll down and things like that. So this has just been a very quick edition of the Goody Reader Radio Show. It
Yeah.
is not live, but this will be available on our website at goodyreader.com as well as on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/goodyreader. And so, Peter, you pretty well manage the YouTube studio. You do a lot of stuff that we don't publish like on the website.
Yeah.
So, in terms of like wrap up, what can we see for like the rest of the year?
It's a little early to tell right now, but you know what's going to be a reoccurring theme is Pocketbook. They are going to come out with a bunch of things. They're the only other company outside of Big Me currently that has Galley investments. They're working Gallery 3 investments, sorry. They're working on Gallery 3 technology. Sharp is as well, but they're a little bit of a different beast. They're part of the Ink consortium. they're gonna release something when they want. They don't live and die by it. But Pocketbook is coming out with the InkPad Color 2. They're coming out with potentially a bigger unit as well. They're coming out with a bunch of things working on the back end. The Viva is already an actual product, just a little bit delayed. I'm gonna say Pocketbook is going to be a reoccurring theme through the rest of the year. I honestly don't know what's gonna happen with Onyx, and of course we can always count on Big Me to make just everything under the sun, and Dasung to just make 12 more monitors. So that's kind of what we're gonna be seeing in the next 6 months there.
I think we're gonna, there's two trends for the rest of the year as I see it. One is e-ink on alternative things. We've
Yeah.
published a Prism 3 guitar.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's a Prism 3 toilet. We've written about all this. It's
I didn't
color
see that.
it's color changing toilets.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh,
There's trends
funny.
in ebooks with book
Yeah.
bands.
Yeah.
Utah
Yeah.
banned the Bible for elementary and middle school students.
Yeah.
There's all these bans happening. So I see e-ink on alternative like device, like things that we never would have predicted.
No.
But I think the one big thing that we might see more of for the rest of the year is Sony, and they have developed
that
a
was
new
big.
they've developed a second generation DPT RP1. It's tentatively
Yes.
named DPT RP2, and they partnered with Readmoo in
Yes.
terms of a release. So Sony doesn't release hardware anymore. What they do is they make devices and then they try to sell them. So they have color versions of the same thing, but they also have a black and white version of it too. And so they leave it up to like companies to see like, what would you like to release? This is how much we charge for the color 13.3. This is how much we charge for the color 10.3. This is how much we charge for the 13.3 black and white. And so this has been, they've had this for months now, like at least 6 months, but this is the first time that it's broke the news. So it's a huge step up from the DPT RP1 that's actually still available, but it's using Carta 1250. And they're the only e-notes on the market using this screen tech is the Fujitsu Quadrino A4, a 5-second gen, and Onyx Book Tab X. And it has Bluetooth, 4-core processor, 120 gigs of storage. It's looking super good, like 3D gyro sensors, Android 9. So it's Skin UI. With the Readmoo version, you can actually buy ebooks. You could listen to audiobooks on it via Bluetooth. So, there's a bookstore on it that you could use so that you could read EPUB books and stuff like that. So this is the first time that Sony actually has opened up like the API for customers to be able to really customize what they want for their, for their users. So this is perhaps we'll see more of Sony devices and Linfini devices going forward. But we thank you for your time and listening to Peter and I talk about e-readers and e-notes for the last 30 minutes. So we wish you all the best. And for goodereader.com, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.